Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the likability of Keanu Reeves? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of Keanu Reeves, then offer my analysis. Keanu Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon, on September 2, 1964. His father, Samuel Reeves, was a geologist from Hawaii, and his mother, Patricia Taylor, was from Essex, England. When Keanu was 3, his father left the family. Keanu and his mother, Patricia, moved to Sydney, Australia, and then to New York City. In 1970, Patricia married a Hollywood director named Paul Aaron. The family moved to Toronto, Canada. The couple divorced in 1981, but Paul stayed in touch with Keanu. Patricia married and divorced 2 more times over the next several years. Keanu grew up mostly in Canada. He attended 4 different high schools. He was expelled from one of them for being rambunctious. At age 15, Keanu decided he wanted to be an actor, despite having an initial interest in being a hockey player. At 17, he dropped out of high school. He had a few small TV and theater roles before moving to Los Angeles at age 20. He found roles on a few movies, including the 1986 movies Young Blood and River's Edge, and the 1988 movies The Night Before, The Prince of Pennsylvania, Permanent Record, and Dangerous Liaisons. Keanu's big break would come in 1989 when he starred in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. His success would increase with the sequel in 1991, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Over the next few years, Keanu would continue to build his career with movies like My Own Private Idaho, Point Break, and Bram Stoker's Dracula. In 1994, Keanu starred in the movie Speed, which was a major hit for him. The movie was about a bus that could defy the laws of physics. Keanu's performances were not always well liked by the critics. For example, he did not get good reviews for the 1996 movie Chain Reaction. He did much better in the 1997 movie The Devil's Advocate. Keanu dodged a slow-moving cruise ship when he turned down $11 million to star in the movie Speed 2 Cruise Control. He read the script but didn't think it made sense because a cruise ship is slower than a bus. In 1999, Keanu starred in The Matrix. He would star in 4 Matrix movies in total. He wandered into a little bit of trouble with the critics in 2001 with the drama Sweet November, but partially redeemed himself with the movie Something's Gotta Give in 2003. Keanu again went through a bit of a rough patch with the 2005 movie Constantine and the 2008 film The Day the Earth Stood Still. His situation only grew more desperate with 47 Ronin in 2013. I don't think that Keanu's acting was necessarily the major problem with this movie. The plot of this movie wandered around like a samurai without a master. Just when it looked like his best acting days were behind him, Keanu revived his career with the John Wick franchise. The first movie came out in 2014. John Wick Chapter 4 is scheduled to be released in March of 2023. These movies are about a guy who kills assassins who have slow reflexes, mostly by using pistols at point-blank range. In the first 3 movies, Keanu's character, John Wick, killed about 299 people. This is more than Michael Myers in all of the Halloween movies and Jason Voorhees in all of the Friday the 13th movies combined. Keanu mixed in a few other movies that didn't do so well, like Bill and Ted Face the Music in 2020, but overall, during this time, he was both a critical and commercial success. In 2022, his net worth was estimated at $380 million. Now moving to my analysis. Keanu Reeves is often considered one of the nicest actors in Hollywood. He appears to go out of his way to engage in positive interactions with fans. Here are a few examples of incidents which have contributed to his impressive reputation. Item number 1, Keanu Reeves has given millions of dollars to charities, including those who help children. He has also been generous with his coworkers on movie sets. He has given gifts including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Rolex watches. Item number 2, in 2001, Keanu went to a movie theater in Sydney, Australia, and bought a ticket for the movie From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. This was long before someone could get the experience of hell from watching the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard trial. A 16-year-old movie theater employee recognized Keanu and made a confusing attempt to have him sign something, like he wanted to get his autograph, but he didn't want to ask for it directly. A couple minutes later, Keanu knocked on the box office door and said, "I realized you probably wanted my autograph, so I signed this." He handed the employee his autograph on a receipt from an ice cream cone that he just purchased. Keanu then threw the ice cream cone in the trash. He bought it just to get the receipt in order to have something to sign. Item number 3. On one occasion in 2014, Keanu was trying to get to a wrap party in a New York City club for a movie of his. He waited in line outside the club for 20 minutes. No one recognized him, and he never told the bouncer who he was. Item number 4. Keanu has taken pay cuts on certain movies to attract more acting talent to the films. For example, he allowed his pay to be reduced by $2 million to cover Al Pacino's salary for The Devil's Advocate, and he took a 90% pay cut in order for Gene Hackman to be hired for The Replacements. Item number 5. There are reports that when Keanu has been on movie sets, he genuinely wants to know people's names and greets them as if he really means it. He takes the time to talk to people regardless of their rank in the movie business. Item number 6. Keanu has been very generous as far as taking pictures with fans. It never seems like an imposition on him. Rather, he's happy to do it. During his encounters, he has often spoken to fans for several minutes. He never seems to be in a rush to leave. When Keanu takes pictures with female fans, he is careful not to place his hands on them. One could argue that perhaps he's thinking about liability, but there is this sense that he's trying to be respectful. Item number 7. In 2015, Keanu was riding the Q Express train to Brooklyn, New York, when he gave up his seat to a woman carrying a large bag. Item number 8. In 2019, Keanu was flying to Los Angeles when the plane had mechanical problems and landed in Bakersfield. He rented a van for his fellow passengers and rode with them on the trip to Los Angeles. As each passenger was dropped off, he made the intentional act of saying goodbye to them individually. Riding in a passenger van with Keanu Reeves must have felt like they were in the movie Speed, except without all the plot holes, explosions, and death. Item number 9. After Keanu took a flight from London to New York City, a boy who was on the flight with him asked for his autograph. The boy asked him a long series of questions, and Keanu responded to each one. When the boy asked how long he was going to be in New York, he responded, 4 days, no, 5 days. Not only was Keanu generous with his time, but he was thoughtful. He could have just said 4 days and left it at that, regardless of the inaccuracy, but he corrected himself. He wanted to be accurate. In addition, when the fan ran out of questions, Keanu started asking him questions, as if he was genuinely interested. Item number 10. When working on John Wick Chapter 3, Keanu advocated for 2 of his particularly talented co-stars not to be killed off in the movie. This is kind, to be certain, but it has the potential to backfire a little bit. If this were to become common practice, there might be an unintended consequence. Characters killed off early in a film would be thought of as not talented, when in fact they may be talented. For example, Steven Seagal's character was killed off early in the movie Executive Decision. Well, perhaps that's not the best example. When considering all the different anecdotes about Keanu Reeves, it seems clear that he is a friendly and generous individual. There is this sense with Keanu that he is just as amazed by encounters with his fans as they are by encountering him. He appears to be grateful. It's like he's trying to live out the famous line from the Bill and Ted franchise, "Be excellent to each other." If Keanu's behavior was inspired by one of his movies, I'm glad it wasn't John Wick, or there would be a lot less kindness and a lot more close-range firearm discharges. Moving to the next question, what is the personality profile for Keanu Reeves? Well, as always, there's no way to know for sure because he could be acting, but based on his behavior, here is a possible profile. He is high in openness to experience, creative, intellectually curious, and adventurous, high in conscientiousness. He has a great work ethic, self-discipline, and strives for success. Mid-range extroversion. I know a lot of people believe he's introverted, but I think it's more of a mix. On the high side, he is friendly, based on his fan interactions, and excitement-seeking. For example, he rides a motorcycle. On the low side, he is analytical, thoughtful, quiet, and introspective. Moving to agreeableness, his level here is probably high. He is straightforward, altruistic, and modest. I think he is also probably high in tender-mindedness, which means his attitudes are determined by emotion. As far as neuroticism, he appears to be fairly low. There isn't much evidence of anger, anxiety, or an inability to resist temptation. Moving to the next question, is Keanu Reeves a great actor? I think this is a question that some people struggle with because he is so likable. It's tempting to simply declare that he is a great actor. This is referred to as the halo effect. This is a logical flaw that occurs when observing a person who has positive characteristics. Like if the individual is attractive and generous, people may automatically think they must be good in all other areas. I have seen just about every Keanu Reeves movie. Here are my thoughts on his acting. There's no question that he's very good at certain types of roles. For example, I mostly liked him in the Matrix and John Wick franchises, as well as in the movie Speed. However, it's fair to say that Keanu struggles with dramatic roles, like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Sweet November. The reality is that a good actor can perform badly under certain circumstances. For example, George Clooney in the 1997 movie Batman and Robin, and Leonardo DiCaprio in the 2000 movie The Beach. I think that Keanu Reeves is a good actor within a specific range of roles. In this sense, I think of him more like Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage, Adam Sandler, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, who are good actors in certain roles, as opposed to all-around good actors like Harrison Ford, Kurt Russell, Michael Keaton, Bruce Willis, Patrick Stewart, Anthony Hopkins, Paul Newman, Morgan Freeman, or Sean Connery. One thing I really like about Keanu Reeves as far as his acting career is that he takes chances. He joins creative projects that are by no means guaranteed to succeed. Some actors are overly cautious about taking risks that could damage their brand. Keanu Reeves doesn't worry about that, and overall, his strategy has paid off. Yes, he was in some movies that weren't the best, but clearly, in its entirety, his career is incredible. Despite the fact that perhaps Keanu could learn something about dramatic acting from his colleagues in Hollywood, they could learn a lot more from him about how to be a likable celebrity. I think that Hollywood owes a lot to Keanu Reeves. Whenever people get disgusted with all these actors who have a sense of entitlement and are self-centered, they remember somebody who is the complete opposite, like Keanu Reeves, and it restores their faith in celebrities and in Hollywood. Keanu Reeves has made many more contributions to Hollywood than just his acting. Those are my thoughts on the likability of Keanu Reeves. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.